What's the difference between human beings and other non-human animals? Think about it for a moment. Animals have no reason or no mind, and so they're like machines, Descartes said, or automata. They are matter in motion. There's no principle of motion in them apart from the disposition of their organs. And when their stomach tells them they're hungry, then they go find something to eat. When their body tells them that they're tired, then they rest. Animals are controlled by their bodies. We as human beings are different. This I is somehow inhabiting this body. Animal behavior, then, when we look at the dog, we can describe the dog's behavior without the introduction of any mind or any other unobservable vital principle. We can describe that dog without talking about any indivisible thing. But I can't talk about anyone else in this room in the same way, said Descartes. We're not like the dog. There's something inside you that your brain calls I. The same is true of the human body. You're sort of like a dog. How? You have certain things that your body does on its own. It breathes on its own. Do you tell your body to breathe? It breathes on its own. Do you tell your body to circulate its blood? Okay, body, circulate the blood. No, it does it on its own. It digests food on its own. There are certain things. Your body is like a machine. It does certain things on its own. But inside that body is this I. And that's what makes you different from the dog. Descartes said the human body is like a machine, though its energy can be applied in different ways by the working person within, by the I within. The I within your body steers that body to do what it does. If you're going to flip the page, you tell, it's you, the I inside your mind, who says, okay, body, turn the page. You direct the work of your body. Okay, body, find something to eat in the refrigerator. Okay? You're directing your body. The energy within you directs your body to do different things. Okay, body, let's get in the car and go to class. Human freedom. What is freedom? Freedom is our greatest perfection, said Descartes. By using freedom, we are masters of our own actions, and thus we merit praise or blame. If I am free to do something, then you can blame me or you can praise me. If I'm not free, like the dog, then how can you praise me? He said, Descartes said, the universal act of praising and blaming ourselves and others shows how it is that we're free. It shows the self-evident character of human freedom. We all naturally perceive that humans are free, which is why we praise them or we blame them. When your child does something good, you praise the child. When your child does something bad, you blame the child. Ooh, why? Because you believe that that child is free. So does God foresee the future? We've talked about this before, because if God knows the future, then are you free? God, Descartes said, God brings us together like a king bringing together two enemies. Think about this for a moment. The king knows that if he brings together the enemies, they're going to fight, even if he tells them not to fight. Okay, I'm bringing you two together, but you need to get along. The king brings them together. Whether they get along is up to them. You follow me? The same with God. God puts us in this world with other people, and then after that, what we do with one another is up to us. And so in the same way that the king foresees that these two might not get along, God foresees that we might not get along, that we might do different things, but God doesn't preordain them. God doesn't know necessarily what it is we're going to do. The king doesn't know what's going to happen with those two men when we bring them together. Nor does God know necessarily what's going to happen when we come together. So God may foresee our free acts, but we don't perform them because God foresees them. God foresees them in the same way that the king foresees what might happen with the two people. But that doesn't mean that they're going to do it because the king knows that they're going to do it. No. And so Descartes concluded that God is not responsible for our actions. We ourselves freely embrace or reject error. So to wrap up Descartes then, what was his influence? Descartes is the most influential, the most important French philosopher because he worked out a complete deductive system, took away all the other authorities, get rid of them, let's see what we can come up with and agree on, came up with 3 things he believed that were certain. I exist, something made me, I'm going to call it God, and corporeal objects exist because I cannot be deceived. Whatever made me would not deceive me. So this hand is part of the extension that is my body. French thinkers have continued the Cartesian tradition of clarity, of being clear. Hegel, a century later, would call Descartes the originator of modern philosophy, hence this course on modern philosophy, right? Instead of relying on old authorities and making our own commentaries on the sentences, no, we're going to come up with a new philosophy. He started from thought and without presuppositions. He insisted on subjectivity. I am. That's one thing I can be certain about, is that I am. He started with the human subject. So from now on, we're going to call this the turn to the subject. What makes the modern world different from any other? It's the turn to the subject. The turn to the I. Everyone in this room can talk about the I, his or her own experience. And he established the true philosophy that rests on reason, a rationalist, rather than on past authorities and traditions. You can throw out your Bible. We're going to use reason, said Descartes. That's deep, modern philosophy.
My perception there was a nice lecture on Descartes.
Say that again?
My perception was that it was a very nice lecture on Descartes.
Thank you. It's fascinating. For me, I'm excited about these things because these are the things that I think about at night. It's sort of like, you know, when I think about the mysteries of life, those mysteries that sometimes overwhelm me and terrify me, sometimes in the darkness of the night. When I think about these things, I think to myself, wait a minute, I didn't make myself. I'm not dreaming this, right? God, the thing that made me, I'll call it God, would not deceive me. I exist. There's something else. There's something else out there. It's going to be okay.